All right, what I want you guys to really understand as I start the next section, the next few sections, the directions are all going to be basically the same. It's about just simply being able to graph a line. Like, that's really what this is. When you have something that is really common, when you have a task that is done a lot, what always ends up happening? Like, if you were to do the same job over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Really good at it.
Okay, number one, you get really good at it. But number two, wouldn't you also create multiple ways of doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we've done it so many times.
Sometimes it's easier to do it one way, sometimes not.
Exactly. Sometimes it's easier to do it a certain way. Sometimes because of the situation or the given information, a different method of doing that might come into play. That's exactly the idea that basically we're going to talk about today, or the next few days. We're going to have multiple ways of doing the same kind of thing because depending on the situation, one method might be better than the other. In the end, could you use one of these methods all the time? You could, but I think you'd be creating more work for yourself. Okay? You guys remember what slope-intercept form is? No, you do? Y equals mx plus b. Okay? What does the m give us? What is the m?
X.
The m is the, it's in the name, slope.
It's in the name.
And the b is the what? It's also kind of in the name.
Intercept.
Which intercept? Which intercept? The y-intercept.
Oh.
Okay? So, here's how easy this is. And this is what I want you guys to be able to do. Is, if you are given a line, say y equals 2x plus 3. What's my slope? 2. What's my y-intercept? 3. Simple? We can draw the graph just from that. What that means, the y-intercept is basically my starting point. That means I'm going to, on the y-axis, go to 1, 2, 3. It has to cross at 3. Easy enough? The slope tells me the direction, basically. What is a slope of 2, basically? 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1, right? That means from here I go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and I can draw that line, and it looks like this. It really is that simple, where just by giving the line, I know where to start it on the y-axis at 3, and then I just go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. That's it. If I give you y equals negative 3/4 x plus 7, where do I start?
7.
Start at 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And where do I go? Down 3 over 4. Down 3 over 4. Down 3 over 4. Or up 3 and back 4. Up 3 and back 4. And then we can draw that line. So again, we know where to start. Basically, we're always going to start on the y-axis, right? And then we also know how to count down 3 over 4. Down 3 over 4. You guys have done this before, yes? Now, looking back at like direct variation, where we said it had to be in the form of like kx, like y equals 3x, that's a form of direct variation. Is it also in slope-intercept form? Yeah, it really is. What's my y-intercept? What's my b value? What number is over here that the b value is?
0.
0. Because all direct variation problems have to go through 0, 0, right? So you can also think of direct variation as problems that have to go through 0, 0, which means if you think of it in terms of y equals mx plus b, it's just the b value has to be 0. Easy? Now, there's a couple different scenarios that we're going to be dealing with. Some are really easy, some create a little bit more of a difficult area. Everybody look at page 338. 338. 338. Some of these problems honestly don't get much easier. Like if you look at number 1, what are the directions for number 1? Draw the graph. So they give us the slope
Is this
is
our homework?
1/3. What?
Is this our homework?
Part of it.
Like 13 through 20, 22, 24, 26?
Possibly.
So let's think.
The y-intercept is what? -3? So there's two things you should be able to do. Given this information, you should be able to tell me the equation of the line and draw the line. What's my equation of my line? Y equals? What's mx plus b? What number gets attached to the x? The slope of the y-intercept? Slope. So 1/3 x minus 3. And then I should also be able to draw the line by starting at the point -3 on the y-axis, and then counting from where? Up 1 over 3. Up 1 over 3. Oop, that's 2. There you go. Easy? 1 through 4, does it get any easier? How about 5 through 8? What's the only thing you have to do for number 5? Write the equation. They give us the slope, which is 8, and they give us the y-intercept, which is, what is it, 2? What's the answer? Y equals 8x plus 2. It really is that simple. Now, what about a question like number 8? What do they give us though? They give us the slope. What's the slope?
Oh, slope 5.
5. And then they also give us a point, don't they? What's the point?
7.
2, 7. What do they not give us?
Y.
They don't give us the y-intercept. So when it comes to y equals mx plus b, right now we know the m, but we don't know the b, right? We have to find the b. Well, the easiest way is, aren't all points basically an x and a y? Well, you can use those x's and y's to plug in for x and y. So basically, instead of a y, what can I plug in for a y? The 7. Instead of the x, I can plug in the 2. And then I can solve this for the b. I know my answer is going to be y equals 5x plus something or minus something. I just don't know what that something is yet. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plug in the x and a y for x and y and solve this. So 5 times 2 is 10. 10? Well, subtract the 10, and what do you get?
1.4. Oh, no. Oh, I divided it.
Negative 3?
Yeah.
So my answer is not negative 3. My answer is y equals 5x minus 3. Now, if you are given, there's a couple different scenarios here that you are going to have to work through. One, they give us the slope and the y-intercept. That doesn't get much easier, right? If they give us the slope and a point, one method of doing this, put your slope in where you know it goes, put the point in for x and y, and then we can solve that for the b. The answer to that just goes in for b. Does that make sense? Abby, are we paying attention? Once you look at number 7, what's given for number 7? The slope is 0, and the y-intercept is what? Negative 3. Graphically, what does that mean? Doesn't that mean at negative 3, it goes through this point, and what do all lines that are slope of 0 look like?
Straight.
They're all straight. All lines are straight.
Well, up and down.
Is this up and down, or is this
Horizontal.
left and right? Is this vertical or horizontal? All
Horizontal.
slopes that are 0 are horizontal. All lines that are horizontal when you graph all lines that are horizontal. So if you have this, let's say that goes through 4. If you have this line, it goes through negative 6. The answer to this, the equation of this line, is y equals 4. Where's the slope? There is no slope. The slope is 0. If you want to write y equals 0x plus 4, isn't that just going to simplify to y equals 4 anyway? Because 0 times anything would be 0. So what's the equation of this line? Y equals negative 6. What's the answer to this problem? Y equals negative 3. Now, that's different than vertical lines. What's the slope of that line? What's the slope of all vertical lines?
No slope.
No slope, undefined. Which it also means you can't write it in slope-intercept form if there's no slope, right? If it's undefined, it's impossible to write it in slope-intercept form. The answer to this problem would be x equals 5. And the reason it's x equals 5, the coordinates of that are 5, 0, right? What do you think the coordinates of that point might be? 5, 5? What do you think the coordinates of this point right here are? 5, negative 4? No matter where you are on that line, what do they have in common? What? Where do they have 5? In the x, right? All vertical lines will be x equals 5, x equals 6, x equals negative 2. All horizontal lines, for the same reason, will be y equals negative 6. If you forget, and this is a super easy thing to forget, going, oh, I know it's either x equals or y equals. Do that exact same thing I just did. If you are given a line that looks like this, and they say that's at negative 4, pick a couple points. What do you think the coordinates of that point right there might be? About negative 5, negative 4, right? What do you think the coordinates of this point might be?
Negative 5.
No.
Careful.
Negative 4. it's not 3, because that
Wouldn't
was.
it be positive 4, negative 4?
You're right. God.
What are the coordinates of this point over here?
10, negative 4.
What do they all have in common?
A 4.
Negative 4.
Where is the negative 4?
The.
In the y.
Y equals.
All horizontal lines. So if you forget, you know the answer is something equals negative 4, but you can't remember if it's x equals or y equals. Plot a couple points. You'll always see that same thing pop up. You go, oh, all the negative 4s show up in the y coordinate, so it's y equals negative 4. Easy? Okay. Now I want you to look at number 21. They say y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. What's the directions?
Right equation.
21. Write each equation in slope-intercept form, then graph it. Is that in slope-intercept form? Great, you should be able to graph it. What's it going to go through?
Negative 1, 2.
Where am I going to start my graph?
Backwards.
Where's the first point I'm going to plot?
0.
Up 3.
Oh my God.
My y-intercept is 3. From there, where am I going to go?
Down 1.
Down 1, over 2. Down 1, over 2. Easy? Now, I want you to look at number
25.
20. Well, we kind of just talked about 21. How about 26? What's 26 say? 4x plus y equals 9. Is this in slope-intercept form?
No.
How do we get it in slope-intercept form?
Minus.
We rearrange it. This goes right back to that section we did a long time ago. We got to solve equations for different letters. What letter do I have to solve for?
1.
I got to get this to say y equals. What's the only thing I got to move?
4.
I got to move the 4x. How do I move the 4x the other side? You minus it. So it becomes negative 4x. Am I moving the 9? I'm going to leave it alone. So what's my slope?
Now, negative 4.
Which means I go down 4 over 1. What's my y-intercept? 9. Start at 9, down 4 over 1. I don't think this stuff should be overly difficult. I really don't. If you look at number 25, that one should be super easy. It just says y equals, what is it, 7/2? Where's the x? That means what kind of line is this? Don't say straight. Ooh.
Horizontal.
All y equals
God.
are horizontal. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 7/2 is like 3.5. That's going to be a horizontal line at 3.5. Easy? How do I do number 19? They give us the slope is
18.
19. Number 19. They give us the slope is -0.5. And they give us the point 6, 4. My answer, I know part of my answer. What's part of my answer? Y equals -1/2 x. What's the only part I don't know? I don't know the b. How am I going to find the b? You plug in the point. The 6 goes in for the x. The 4 goes in for the y. And you solve. What's half times 6? What's -0.5 times 6? What's half of 6?
3.
3. So -3. Plus what? Equals 4. What's my b gotta be?
Positive 4.
Try again.
5.
How do you get rid of a negative b here?
Oh.
Add it. So you get 4 plus 3.
7.
Jeez, Louise, guys. So what's my answer to this question?
I don't even know what I was
Y equals negative half x plus 7.
This ain't going through my brain.
I've noticed. Okay. That's it, guys. It really is. That's all there is.